Rolling sound, quiet. Here we go. Beat it. 126.7. And starting with and action.
What up, Lone Star Film Festival? It's your boy Luke Charles, and I am here for this awesome panel that we've got scheduled for you guys today. Fort Worth musician, and so this one it hits home for me. I'm here with the cast and creators of It's a Wonderful Plight. I've got my man Jay Rhodes. We got Kory Pratt. We've got Kory Williams, and we got April Patterson here with us. Guys, introduce yourself. Introduce yourself.
Ladies first?
Okay. Ladies first. Ladies first.
Always. Hi, I'm April Patterson. I'm an actress and producer. I was the executive producer on It's a Wonderful Plight, and I am happy to be here.
I guess I'll go next. Hey, everybody. My name is Kory Williams. I am co-director of It's a Wonderful Plight.
And what's up, guys? I'm Kory Pratt. I'm an actor, producer, writer, and a film contributor, specifically for It's a Wonderful Plight.
Okay, and I'm Jay Rhodes. For this film, just artist, writer, director, editor. Jack of all trades for the film, and worked with all these wonderful people to make it happen.
Slash.
I'm gonna stop at the slashes.
So. One of the things, that makes this project really special to me is that, I have a history working with Mr. Jay Rhodes. He's been a, producer, a real staple in the Dallas-Fort Worth hip-hop game for, man, we talking decades now, Rose? Are we talking a decades game now? It's been a minute. So it's really dope to kind of see you kind of move over into this film aspect of this film world. Can you talk a little bit about that for me?
Man, it's been a journey because I really love movies, and man, I can't really explain it. It's just I think I felt a longing to move over into film because music, I don't want to say limitations, but it has its ups and downs or whatever, but I feel like film, you can just encompass everything and all your talents in one spot, and so here we are.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Now, Kory, me and you, we've known each other for a minute as well. Could you kind of explain this project a little bit for me? It's a Wonderful Plight. Could you jump in and give me the big picture of it?
Yeah, you're talking about Kory with a K or Kory with
a K? Kory with the K.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So pretty much, It's a Wonderful Plight. It's written by, of course, Justin Rhodes, and the premise is talking about race issues in America in a lighthearted way through hip hop, and of course, everyone likes music, right? So, what better way to tell a story than to add music behind and tell it in a very, very heart-fulfilling way. And it kind of hits home for Black culture because it talks about a few things like gentrification. It talks about Botham Jean. It talks about the crack era. It talks about Fred Hampton. And it was shot in around maybe about 5 or 6 days, believe it or not. So we really, really pushed hard for it, and we shot it pretty quickly, but we pretty much executed it very well, in my opinion. And shout out to Jay Rhodes for his awesome writing because he came up with the idea. I believe in 20. Jay Rhodes, when was that? The Black Film Festival? 2019. Yeah, last year. And I actually thought it was kind of a joke at first because it was kind of like he wanted to do a hip hop musical, and I was just like, okay, where is this going? But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it.
They think you a joke until until you make it happen. It be your own people.
It be your own people, and that's pretty dope. That's really dope that you had that foresight. And one thing I've always liked about you, Rhodes, is you say something crazy, and then you go do it. you go do it. You go do it, and you make it happen. You're like, oh, okay, maybe it's not that crazy. Now, April, I kind of wanted to ask you, what drew you to this project? You know, Kory said he thought it was a joke at first. What kind of drew you to this project and wanting to?
No, I know. I've known Justin enough to know that when he says he's going to do something, it's not a joke. So, he'll say, I got an idea, and I'm like, okay, he's running with it. He will. So he approached me with this. My children are actors. I'm an actor, and we've been in the industry for about a little over 15 years or so. So we've been on a ton of film sets, commercial sets, and we've been in the industry for a long time. So Justin, I write a little bit too. So Justin sent the script to me, and he was like, hey, what do you think of this? And, my husband and I read it together, and I was like, this is so clever. I love the idea. I knew the music because I believe a lot of the music was written prior. He had come out like a year prior with some of the music. So I knew the music, and I was like, this is like the perfect scenario to explain this music. And it was I thought it was so clever. And he asked if I could help him put it together because I am so experienced in the film industry. And I was all about it. I was like, let's do this. He did give me a 5-day window to shoot it. So I was like, oh, I did think he was joking about that. I was like, oh, no, we can't do that. But if Justin is good at anything, it is making you realize potential where you did not know you had it.
For sure.
I definitely
and I
agree.
did not know I can shoot a full feature. We can do a full feature in 5-6 days, but I'm like, I can conquer the world now because Justin helped me realize this is possible.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, Mr. Pratt, a lot of people are speaking about the time crunch that they had to do this in. Could you kind of describe that atmosphere? You guys kind of working together as a team to kind of pull this together?
Well, see, with this project, I was just essentially a film contributor. So I got to the project on the tail end of it. Okay. And, like I said, I'm an actor and producer and writer here in the city and a good friend of Justin. And so he reached out to me and wanted my opinion about the project. And when I saw the final product, I was like, bruh, like, this is systemic racism for dummies. Like this is exactly what it is. This is how you break down to someone who doesn't believe systemic racism exists. Mm-hmm. This is how you do it for them in the most simplest forms. And so I can't speak on the time crunches for the shoot over 5 days, but I can tell you that they executed it perfectly.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, kind of speaking to that, Justin, you don't necessarily come from a film background per se. What experiences or how did you really prepare for this project to kind of execute it with the precision that you did?
Well, I mean, it's funny how God works because my 9-to-5 experience was at DFW Airport with a lot of film and stuff that I didn't per se like, So I had that experience, and then I just brought it to what we did. It's funny how you have that skill, and it was in my back pocket, and then I was like, oh, well, it's time to use it. And me and Kory, before this film, how much film were we shooting before this, Kory?
We did These Beats Ain't Free. We did House of Beats, and we did a reality show, a web series, and like a short film. Yeah,
bunch of stuff. So it's almost like indirectly I was preparing for this my whole life, Mm-hmm. So, and you can speak to that some more, Kory. What you think?
Yeah, so Jay Rhodes coming from a producer background, it's good to know that not only does he have a music background, but he also can edit film as well. So it kind of helps us out because me as a videographer and film editor, we can complement each other very well because, if it's almost like a double-edged sword because it's like where I lack, that he can pick up, and where he lacks, I can pick up. So we complement each other very well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really dope. That's really dope. So I heard you kind of Kory Pratt he kind of, described it as, systemic racism for dummies. That was kind of the idea of the film. Was that your main goal, kind of going into it? What was your goal in the in writing? What story were you trying to tell? What were you trying to, what thoughts or ideas were you trying to get across? And that's open to anybody.
Well, I feel like that was a question more for Justin, but I'll speak to that as well. It is a lesson for dummies, and one of the feedbacks I got from one of my white friends was like, "Man, this you make the white people in here real simple." I was like, "Yeah, because it kind of needs to be simple and explained so that you can understand it. We need to dumb it down as much as we can so that you can understand it." So I do feel like it was just put together perfectly. Like everything was explained perfectly, and the language, as far as the one of the main characters, it was dumbed down a bit, but that was on purpose.
And I'm being soft with it because what I'm trying to say is, it seems like I tend to dominate our conversation, so I'm letting all my people get their words in. But man, I just really feel that the subject matter, they were dumbed down because it really wasn't made for white people. Oops. I mean, it really wasn't. It was kind of made to tell our story in our way, and it was meant to reach out to them. But more, it was really our story. And so that was the whole purpose of the dumbing down of it. It was purposely done, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of want some of my comrades to speak to that because, I typically dominate these conversations, but it's always cool to allow them to chime in. So what would you say, Kory? Kory with the C.
I mean, as somebody who came to the project on the back end and, just seeing it all put together, you explained a lot of stuff that quite honestly, I didn't know. About gentrification and the Fred Hampton story. I knew about this stuff vaguely, because you can't be Black in America, and I know about these things. But you took it a bit more in depth for me, and it prompted me to do my own research. And so the film kind of works for both sides of this, on both sides of the spectrum. For a Black person, you're going to get, the antenna is going to go up. Hey, let me dig a bit more into what's going on with my people. And then for, the white person, you can say, okay, wow, this is going on for these. This is what's happening to these people. This is why they're, they're out in the streets and moving the way they do. So that is the genius of the film for me.
But I also feel like it was necessary the way the language was written because
and the genius. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Oh, you want to go?
Oh, my bad. Go ahead. No, I'm sorry. Yeah. So the genius is. I feel
like it was necessary because
my bad.
In a lot of ways,
it's kind of laggy.
People aren't introduced to systemic racism, especially whites. It's not their first introduction into it. It's not the first time they've heard it. So in a way, you're almost like, let's like make the language simple, but the music itself was very intricate and very detailed, and it explains so much. So it's almost like, wait, you still don't get it?
Right.
Let's go on and make the language simple for you, and then let's give you this really detailed language, this really detailed lesson in music, so that you can so we can talk to you on your level, but then explain this lesson to you in a way that you can't refute.
I was going to say, if we know if white people don't like anything about Black people, they love our music. What better way to deliver a message to them than through our music?
Exactly.
That's exactly what I was about to say. A lot of times they say you got to put the medicine in the candy, right? And that's something I was about to ask you, Rhodes, kind of piggyback. The music, the music play. It's a hip hop musical, right? So the music plays a very important role. Probably comes in front and center in this film.
Yeah.
Could you kind of speak to the music, the process of creating the music, and then kind of writing around that? Because I know just because I'm up on your work that a lot of these songs you had already written, Now, when you had these songs created, that's something I'm kind of interested personally. When you had these songs created, were you already thinking about, oh, I'm going to write a hip hop musical through these songs, or kind of, can you walk us through that process a little bit?
Well, as you know, Lou, you always want to maximize what you're doing, right? So it was, I think most of the songs were created like in 2018, a bunch of them, and it was 2019 where we were at the American Black Film Festival, and so I was like telling Kory, I was like, man, because they invited us to the film festival due to that music, and I was telling Kory, I was like, man, we have to do something with this music because they like Make It Take It and they like the stuff that we did. So really it was like, basically, if this level of a film festival likes us for music, what if we made a movie with that music throughout? And so we just kind of like, I was like, okay, gentrification, let's write a story leading up to that. Boom, they hooked with the music. Make It Take It, write a story leading up to that. Boom, they hooked with the music, and we did that throughout. And then we just started adding stuff like the Botham Jean saga, like it was really a saga. It wasn't a saga, it was a murder. Let's call it what it is. And then we just added some things throughout, and then we made, because my thing is the music is so powerful that if your story can just carry it and throw the alley, ooh, you have It's a Wonderful Plight. And that kind of was the thought process. Anything you want to add to that, Kory, anybody? As far as how the music made you feel, I know, I kind of created it, but I'm just saying as far as, how did it make you feel throughout the film?
Well, the music is wonderful. I don't think anybody can deny that. It's, and it's very detailed lessons in history. It really is. So it was perfect. It was a perfect way to give a lesson. And like Kory said, there were some things in the music that, I heard the music at least a year prior, and I was still like, let me Google this. So as educated as I am, I was like, man, I needed to learn a little bit myself too. And I learned a lot through this process.
Yeah, and I think we all can learn a little something. Like even while I was filming, it was some things that I've learned myself. And what I was going to say earlier before my computer started messing up, it's kind of sad that you have to dumb it down for people in order for them to understand the severity of these issues going on in America, right? So if you look at how music is portrayed in America, they always try to cater towards like the young generation or a certain culture or whatever. So if we have to create a movie and explain something so serious and put it in song format, it's genius and it's dope, but it's also sad too if you think about it, because it's like now they understand what's going on, And I wouldn't mind making a part 2 if it's going to get the message across even
part
more.
2 in the works.
You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, that's my take on it from the music aspect of it. I have a music background, but not like Justin. But as I was filming, I was just like, okay, the further along we got into the film process, I was just like, okay, this is dope. This is dope. Okay, oh, this is even more dope. Okay, now I'm getting it, So I'm just very appreciative to be a part of this process and be the person that actually filmed the whole thing with a few help from others, and I can now put this on my, I guess, in my arsenal, I would call it,
Your resume?
And, resume, there you go. And I say arsenal. Why I say arsenal like that? But,
it works.
But I will say, if I can interject here, Kory, I will say that there was a certain harmony between the writing, the music, and the imagery. As a collective, this film was put together so well. Kory, with one of my favorite shots in the movie was the dancer in the junkyard. Oh my! It was amazing. The shot with Vinnie Vegas. I can't remember the name of the song that was playing at the time, but they looked so regal in that shot. You know what I mean? So it was gorgeous all the way around. I couldn't be more proud of the work that you guys did with this film, and the world needs to see it.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. And shout out to Justin. Like, not only is Justin a writer, but he also has the visuals down too. Sometimes I don't understand it, but I think that's why we work together so well, because he'll be like, hey, I want to do this. And I'm like, okay, I don't know for sure, but he'll say, okay, let's meet up at this location. And then once we get there, and it becomes more and more clear the further we get along, you know? So, yeah. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, Kory.
Nah, thank you, bro. Thank you.
Awesome. That's awesome. So I've been keeping up with what you guys have been doing throughout this, rolling the movie out. I saw that y'all had a viewing at a drive-through viewing. Can you speak a little bit about that and kind of talk about the general reception that the film's been getting kind of early? Can you speak to that for me a little bit?
Yeah, so on September 18th, we had a drive-in movie premiere at the historical Dallas Black Forest Theater.
Okay.
And we premiered It's a Wonderful Plight, and it was sold out. The parking lot was packed. It was like rave reviews. Everybody loved the film. Everyone was honking their horns at the end. Lady J from K104 came out and hosted, and she did a wonderful job. And I was so excited at the end because, I just wasn't expecting. I mean, I know the film is great for sure, but when you hear from other people, it's just that validation, you know what I mean? And I was just like, you know what I mean? Yeah, it was dope. It was dope. It was dope.
Everybody worked so hard on it. I mean, it was a lot of really long days. Like, not a lot. It felt like a lot. Only like a couple of long days that everybody was on set. And I mean, hours and hours of work. Me being tasked to try to plan out as much as I can, coordination between a lot of the actors came from out of town because he wanted quality actors. So we had to coordinate their schedules and their lodging, all kinds of stuff. And it was just so, the hard work that goes into it, but it was so rewarding at the end when we did the viewing, and everybody just went crazy honking. I felt like I was holding my breath the whole time. Like from the time we shot it last year until we did the viewing, and it was just like, wow, okay, all right, we did good. It was wonderful.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, it's one of those things when you have something that you create and you hold it so close to your chest, and then that moment that you let it go, the people and now it's up for being critiqued basically, and to get that instant validation to know, is it good? Is it bad? Yeah. People like it. Do people not like it? Do they think this is absolutely trash? I thought it was great. That's one of those things that being a creator is kind of is kind of cool to have that adrenaline rush, if you will.
Yeah. Sure.
One of the things I wanted to ask you guys was, and we didn't really touch on this yet, but challenges about creating kind of an indie film of this capacity. What were the main challenges that you guys kind of ran into while you were trying to create this project?
I'll go first, as this was my first executive producing project. I mean, I've been in the industry for a really long time, but it was the first time, and I thank Justin and Kory for trusting me enough to kind of put it all together. But I've acted in many things. I've never produced and acted and organized and been on set all day, every day, and then have to jump in and then act. So I think we shot the scene that I was in the second to last day. And so we had been going strong and heavy all the way up to that day. And I was so sick by the time we actually got to my scene. And I think, Kory said, cut. And I was like, because my voice is gone. I had like nothing left to give. So he cut right at the perfect time. But that was it was a challenge to try to produce and keep everything and work with everyone every day, and then hop in and then also act, because acting alone is a whole new craft. You got to spend your time and your homework in doing that itself, and you got to honor that process. So trying to honor two processes at one time was the first time I had done something like that.
Yeah, and April, you did a good job, by the way.
Great job.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Kory he just likes to say nice things.
For me, this was my first film ever shooting, And I have to say that for me, it was tough just coming up with the scenes off the fly, because Jay Rhodes and I, we're pretty good at guerrilla shooting, which is just showing up at a location and then just making it happen, But with this, it's more strategic and you have to prepare for it. And sometimes I have to be honest with you. I didn't know what I was doing, but I found a way to make it work. And I think that's the beauty behind the struggle is like once you fight through it and figure it out. I like figuring stuff out, And another struggle for me was, with us doing it on our own with a small budget, there's like equipment issues. Like we didn't have this, we didn't have that. So we have to compensate and like find other ways to make things happen. But that's all technical stuff. But overall, we got it done.
I will say, as I didn't have a hand in producing this film and getting this stuff done, but as a local producer and filmmaker and actor myself, I can attest. I can say to put out a film of this quality in 5 days with a small budget and it be the quality that you guys presented it in is amazing. So kudos to everybody involved in this because I know that is no easy feat at all.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. I think we complemented each other as a team well because where Kory and Justin are really good at guerrilla style filming, I am like super A-type. I need to plan everything, every location, and so it was like us working together to try to like me plan as much as I can, but also having to adjust with the fact that Justin is like an on top of the head kind of creative. Like he just was like, wait, let me think about, we get on set and he was like, I haven't figured it out, but I'm gonna figure it out in like 10 minutes. And I was like, what? And he's so good at it. He's so good at it. And it worked. It worked so well.
And that's a struggle too. Like Justin, I love you, bro. But man, bro, you all over the place sometimes, man. But but there's something wrong with our geniuses though, And but I love you, bro. I'm not trying to say
That's why I was here. That's why I'm here. I had to keep them on track as much as possible.
That's awesome. So I think there's something else that's kind of very powerful. All of you guys are local DFW creators, and we're all African Americans. Is there any advice that you would like to impart on, as we kind of wrap it up, on a young filmmaker or a young creative that they see this film and they say, you know what, I want to go out and I want to try to make something of this quality. I want this inspires me to kind of jump into this field. Is there any advice that you would impart on that individual?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll go first if you don't mind. Mm-hmm. The first thing I would like to say to young creators is nowadays we live in an age of technology with social media where it's easy to get caught up in seeing what someone else is doing, and you can easily get distracted or discouraged because you're not on their level. What I would like to say is gather that information you see on social media and use it as fuel to advance yourself and to go out there and pick up a camera, write that book, create that painting, draw that sketch, go do that mural or whatever it is, whatever the case may be. Because nowadays it's so easy to compare yourself. And the last thing you want to do is compare yourself. Instead, use that for inspiration and go pick up that camera and go out there and shoot as much as you can, because the best teacher is trial and error, and repetition is the father of learning. So I would just like to encourage all young guys to go out there and just do it. Just do it.
Awesome.
I couldn't agree with Kory more. I would have to say, just do it. Just do it. Like, don't focus on, all the other things that might hinder you or that might stop you. Just do it. Simple.
Yeah, that's really good. Good advice, both of you, especially Kory. That was beautiful. First of all, I'm actually local to Texas, but I live in Austin. I live in Austin, but I work with creatives all over. So I'd say I'm local to Texas. I think what this has taught me is that you just need to like move on your vision and just stop dreaming about something. You know, I think the biggest difference between people who see their vision come to and people who just kind of keep dreaming is the fact that they're walking towards it. They're actually making steps. They're taking classes. They're doing the work. They're surrounding themselves with people who are better so that they can learn. You know, they're humbling themselves so that they can learn. And for me, it would just be like, whatever it is you dream up, no matter how outrageous it feels and sounds, just start making steps towards that, because we're so much more capable than we give ourselves credit for sometimes. And the only thing that stops us ever is fear. And fear is it's just not in our vocabulary. It cannot be in your vocabulary when you got things to do and things to bless the world with.
Absolutely.
Hey, I'm so sorry. Do we have to do the interview over because of this whack internet at the school? I don't know what's going like. What's like? We can, because I can't like. Jesus, it's pre-recorded, so they go edit it. I don't know. I'm my bad for messing it up. Y'all guys really held me down, but jeez.
No problem.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Rhodes. Can you hit this last question for me real quick?
Yeah. I hit the last question.
Last question was, is there any advice that you could, impart on a young creative that sees, this film and says, you know what, I want to do that?
Just do it. And I know that's kind of like cliche, right? No, but for real, it's like, I think even I can speak, even talking to, Kory with the C, Pratt, and Kory with the K, April. Kory with the K and April, everybody that you talk to, whether they're in your inner circle, outer circle, whatever, typically they give you the, go do it attitude. But even sometimes, the people that even believe in you, I'm just saying in general, they may say, hey, well, this is not ready yet. You need to do this before you do this, or this before you do that. But if in your heart, you know that you can do this film the best you can do it at this moment, then that's all that matters, right? So I think a lot of times we want to have everything perfect. But what's perfect, I mean, you know what I'm saying? The perfect doesn't exist. I think that any creator that is going to, do something of this magnitude, say, hey, I'm gonna do a hip hop musical. Oh, maybe it may not be the production that Hamilton's is or whatever you want to call it, but it's gonna be the best thing that I can do. And there's some beauty in that, because the way you do it, whatever resources that you're blessed with, you may have to do something creative to make it happen. So it's going to come off different than what this is. And that may just make it even better. So I think a lot of times you can look at stuff and you could be like, I need to do it just like that. Or I need to do it like Steven Spielberg, or I need to do it like Spike Lee, or I need to do it like all of these various artists, creators, or whatever. But it's something unique about you being you. And it's something even more unique about you being you at that certain level, because the me, Kory, and the team that we're going to be 10 years from now, 5 years from now, even though it may be better, it's almost like, let's just equate it to Michael Jordan's rookie season, right? Like, he may not have been the 6th ring cross, Byron Russell over shoot the J Mike, but that rookie of the year Mike, that rough raw Mike, that non-triangle offense Mike, that was a special moment in time that you never be able to encapsulate again. So that equates to your artistic prowess, right? So don't worry about trying to be the 6th ring Mike. Be the you now, because it's going to be something raw in that. And even though I think we can make It's a Wonderful Plight probably better now, we already have better equipment. We're already stronger as a team. We're stronger as a unit. But that film wouldn't be the film that it is now. You know what I mean? Because it may be cleaner, maybe whatever, but it's not as raw. It's emotions and staying out late at night with, 2 DSLRs making it work. It's emotions and, your producer, I think that was one of her first big films she produced, but she was so excited about it. It's emotions and us gathering around her family as they prayed over this film. And I think that's one reason why this film is doing so great, because her and her family, we held hands, and I was going through a lot. And her house was like, it's some refuge for me at that time, just to be, it really was. So, and then I was just over there, just laying down. She was like, we're gonna pray over this film. And I'm going on a tangent, mainly because I need to go on this tangent so people can learn. But another part is because I'm trying to make up for the time that I wasn't here. I was taking all my answers. So no, but the truth is that it's beauty in the now, right? It's beauty in doing it with the resources you have now and what you're doing now. It's total beauty in that. And don't ever say that I don't have enough this, that, and the third, because if you got an iPhone and you want to shoot something, shoot it with that. And just do what you can and just continue to get better. And there's beauty in where you are right now. So anybody that wants to do this, anybody that wants to make beats, or anybody that makes beats and say, oh man, I'm gonna be a producer now. I'm gonna be a filmmaker now. That's cool. Or if you're a filmmaker and you like, man, I want to make beats, you can do that. It's nothing wrong with mastering the art after you master it and then saying, I think I want to master this. And it's just such a cool energy and building from that. So do it. That's the main thing.
Real talk.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys checking in with me today. It's a wonderful Plight. We'll be running at the Lone Star Film Festival. You guys, good luck. Much love to you. I appreciate you guys. It's been real dope. I appreciate it.
Say love y'all, man. Love you, April. Love you, Lou. You my boy. Love you, Pratt. Love you, Kory. And I hope y'all ain't say nothing crazy with me being out for 15 minutes.
I did.
Well, we made you sound like Spike Lee, boy.
I hope them answers was great. I know they were, but I love y'all, man, for real, and that's real.
Yeah, y'all too. Vote.